Yeah, I know it sounds funny, but it's the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the podcast. In this episode, I will have Alexander, a very talented musician and pianist from New York. He will be here with us, and we will be also doing this in a video. So I would like to start right off by asking the man, who are you, man? Welcome of course.
Hi Jason, thank you for the opportunity for this interview. I mean, we got to know each other a little bit, and I'm certainly enjoying your company, and you were a genuine program. It's really an honor to be in your podcast, and I hope that we'll keep in touch. My name is Morgan Alexander. I'm a New York-based composer. I mean, where should I start to tell you about myself? As I said, I'm a pianist and composer. I'm an emerging artist. I started in the past 2 years I started touring around. And what's particular about my touring is that I love to compose and perform my own music. So I found my niche on this, and I think that I've been touching people with this, and this has been motivating me to go forward and compose more music and perform more music. I have no preferences where or when to perform. Whenever I get an opportunity, I do so, and it seems that so far has been going well, until the pandemic hit. I'm sure it put a stop on the whole art world, but I'm pretty optimistic that we'll get back on track and we'll start touring again. I've been pursuing my music studies for most of my life. I started playing the piano when I was a kid. I actually grew in southeastern Europe. I lived there for a while in Albania, Macedonia, and a little bit around the area, and that's where I found most of my inspiration, which I carried always in me. But then, I went to live in the United States, and from there, I grew up on the other side of the world, and I got a different experience of my life. So that also fueled my inspiration, and I continued my collegiate studies here. I graduated from Rowan and Montclair State University. I had the opportunity to study with some great professors who gave me, I would say, the basis of some strong compositional techniques that I still use today. And besides that, there were always models and great role models and inspirational figures to my artistic world. So there's a lot of things around that keep me fueled. But basically, this is who I am. I'm a product of my environment, and I like to write music.
Lovely. I loved your introduction. That was very nice. And thank you for this. I would like to ask you, how old are you, just out of curiosity?
In a week, I believe, May 22nd, I'll be 32 years old. So I was born in 1988.
Oh, lovely. I'm sure I will wish you happy birthday when it's that
Thank you.
time.
Yeah, I'll take it as an early wish.
Perfect, man. It's so nice to meet you. When did you start your journey in music? Like you told me you compose, but when was your first memory that you had with music, like a picture?
Yes. So I always liked music, since as far as I could remember, maybe from like 4 or 3 years old. But unfortunately, this is a very controversial story. When I was a child, my mother, she loved to expose me and my brother to music, and unfortunately, I was tone deaf. I was one of those kids that, for example, you'd play a note on the piano, or you'd sing something, and I would, whenever I would try to sing it back, I would be so out of tune. So I was always told you could be anything but a musician. And then at the age of 13, it was the turnaround. I don't know, something really touched me, and I started getting back into music. And this time I was not tone deaf anymore. So at 13, I professionally started the music road. I auditioned for music school. I was accepted, and ever since, I started playing the piano and the accordion. So that's where I would say was the official beginning, because before that, there was a disconnection. I don't know what it was. I guess the age, who knows.
So you have a full life of studies, of music studies.
Yes, it's I've been studying musically academically since I was 13, and until I finished. I mean, I still discover and learn about music, but I started relatively late, because a lot of kids, they started since they're 5 or 6. But I guess under my circumstances, I should have started earlier. But I feel lucky to have not left it behind, but started at 13. So yeah.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more with you. Um, Another question that it has to deal with now. How long do you study music for, or a piece daily practice? I mean.
So after you leave school, then the practice hours tend to kind of dim down. But I still continue practicing my own pieces, because composing is one thing, but since I perform my own music, I have to practice my own music as well. And I would say now that we're at this time, I spend more time. I would say about 2 to 3 hours a day. But when I was studying music, when I was studying piano in school, I would go for 5, 6 hours, or even more sometimes. But now it's a different chapter, so I would say average maybe 2 or 3 hours a day. Yeah.
Fantastic. And do you practice other songs besides yours?
I do. I try. Like I said, because I have so many projects that I'm involved with, and they don't leave me so much time to work on other composers' music. But absolutely, I never try to leave it behind, because you learn so much. You open up your horizons, and you get inspired by studying other people's music, or upon request, when I have to play at an event where I'm asked to play specific pieces, then yes, I would absolutely spend time. But not as much as I wanted to, but I still keep in touch with other people's repertoire.
What is your favorite? Who is your favorite composer?
I have many composers. If you listen to my music, it has a lot of cinematic nuances and this neo-romantic, neoclassical. But there's also another side of me, which is I know we all love that. There's another side of me. It's very avant-garde, and it's almost unbelievable when you listen to my most popular tracks. You would not think or expect that I would write something totally different. So I love Brahms, I love Wagner, I love Chopin, of course the Shostakovich, Prokofiev, but I also love Berg, Weber, Derives, Berio, some both extremes, from early classical to romantic to very avant-garde. So these are some of my most favorite. It's very hard to circle one in particular.
Of course, it's so many.
I'm saying, it must be the same with you being a musician.
Absolutely, absolutely. You talked about live performances. What's the situation with your live performances now with the coronavirus? How is this going?
So as I mentioned before, I'm sure it's had a very negative impact on the artistic world, because the nature of its negativity, let's say, the gatherings are the enemy of it. So this has kind of temporarily, I would say, destroyed the live performing events. So at the present, I'm doing live concerts from my home. As you can see, this is the environment where I do them. I would love to get back as soon as possible, but of course we have to be cautious and very clever about it. So I'm sure that as time will go by, things will get better. But right now, there's no concert halls or in the house performances. There are some projects which are going to be resuming and that are postponed. But as for now, I use my home studio as my main nest of live performances.
Can you describe me your daily routine?
Yes, well, my daily routine, waking up in the morning, going for a little jog or doing whatever physical exercises I'm used to. Can't hit the gym, so that makes it a little bit harder. But you appreciate nature more by going outside. Then coming back home, of course, being a composer, I'm full of ideas, as I'm sure that every composer is. And I try to jot them down whenever I think that they're very worth it. Work always, there's a never-ending work with your own music, because you always strive to polish it more, to touch upon it whenever you can. And so music is the second phase. And then I always make sure to leave space for leisure activities, family or other activities, reading, or sometimes coming up with something new. So basically whatever the circumstances allow. But this is my daily routine during a normal day as well.
Okay, so you're staying active and close to your music, and try to be as much as possible active.
Absolutely, no, that's definitely the point. Yeah.
And what's the book that you're reading now, or any kind of book that you recommend?
Thank you for asking. Right now I've been very fascinated with the mechanisms of the brain. Because as the more the more you see, the more you get into music, the more you realize that musical memory, or the way the brain works, it's so fascinating how you're totally driven by it. So I'm reading right now a book called The Psychology of Music, which is very it's a very detailed book about how frequencies or sound waves affect different parts of your brain. Which it's still a field that is not very touched upon, but I'm very much fascinated by it, and I'm looking forward to reading as much material as I can find toward it. And please let me know if, since you raise your hand to agree with me that you're probably into it too, please share with me, or whoever is willing to share, because I would love to get more, to dive deeper into that ocean.
I've been talking about this in the previous episodes of the podcast. It's crazy, exactly. It's so magic with music, and the memory. You said we can use all the mechanisms of the body to perform even better by adding good habits to our daily life, and replacing them bad habits with good ones and new. For example, what I do at this month with this quarantine situation, I added meditation in the morning.
That's fantastic. That's another thing that I think, not only music-wise, but I think it's very useful in every aspect of life, and but particularly in music, I think it's very beneficial. Yeah.
Exactly, because it's something more than a regular thing to do, play music and even compose even more. It's more spiritual, and it has more to do with energy, and meditation can help you clear all these blocks that you might have in your system.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, again, the brain is a fascinating thing. I'm trying to discover about it as much as I can.
Yes, absolutely. How many hours do you sleep?
The average is 6 hours. I sleep about 6 hours, and I've realized it's enough, because it feels great. But I would love to sleep more. I would love to sleep more.
What time are you going to bed? That's very crucial.
My average time is probably midnight. It's very rare that I go to bed before midnight. Even though sometimes I would have liked to go before, but it's quite impossible. It feels like inspiration comes at night mostly. So.
Yes, I don't know. It's very interesting. Everybody is talking about this. I was watching Jacob's Collier live on IG, and he was talking about that exact same thing. That musicians can be night owls.
Absolutely, this is true. I mean, most of the musicians that I know are very heavy nocturnal people. So I guess night is very amusing and inspiring, I guess.
Yes, it's magic. Let's talk about your latest work. Tell us about this.
So, as I mentioned before, my genre focuses around the cinematic genre, and but I've been, the more you write and the more you expand on your own genre, there's always that desire to look for something different. But of course, not a big jump, but something that you could transition smoothly and discover, create based upon what you're writing. So. Right now, I'm focused on kind of modifying my style from that neo-romantic into a more, I would say, impressionistic romantic, if I could call it that way. And I find it very pleasant, very mystique. I like it, and I have a few pieces that I'm working on, and I'm expanding the texture of my music. For example, I've been writing more chamber music now with piano and strings, because most of my music right now, the one that I published, is mostly for piano solo. But now I've been very much into doing piano and violin, piano and cello, some strange combinations, maybe piano and accordion, which is very difficult to balance. But that challenge kind of attracts me. So I want to discover more about how you can balance out accordion and piano.
Of course, I wasn't expecting you to say something like this. It's a great challenge. I'm looking forward to hear what the results on this. Yeah.
Thank you. I'd be glad to share. Yeah. So I'm working on a few projects like that, and I think in my future publications, I'll be staying at this type of arrangements for a while, because I think there's so much to discover. Into the balance and the sound and the contours that you could create through these.
Wow. I'm speechless right now.
Thank you. Let's hope they come out good. So I've done a lot of experiments, and not always they succeed. For example, I'll tell you one thing. I was very I would say obsessed with a combination of piano and guitar, which I know in my experience. It hasn't worked out as well as I wanted to, because of the nature of the sound of the guitar and the piano. But I like challenges, so I wanted to find a way to compose for both. And unfortunately, I didn't dedicate as much time. But I'm looking forward to, after these, that I think they will work. I'm gonna get back into the piano and the guitar combination, and let's see what else I can get out of it. I like challenges, but sometimes you don't have the time to focus fully onto it, so you kind of minimize that project and you focus on other things.
Yes, absolutely. Pressure shapes diamonds.
Yeah, true.
Where do you find inspiration when you compose? Give me an example on this, because I really want to connect with you on this level of experience.
Yes, I love this question. I've been asking this question myself for a while, and believe me, until not too long ago, I discovered a few things about myself. You know when you're inspired, but sometimes you don't know exactly what inspires you. And yes. I've been doing some thinking on this, and I figured out three things. One thing that inspires me the most are traveling experiences. If I travel, I feel like this whole mindset shift, and that transition kind of fuels you with this cloud of inspiration that when you get back home, whatever you have to reminisce on, you pour it out on music.
Yes.
Another source of inspiration is, this will be strange, but I've noticed that whenever I'm involved into physical activities, for example, sports or anything like that, they kind of shake you up, get you away from your old mindset of thinking, and then you come back, and then they just kind of rush to your mind, and you're like, oh, I had all these ideas, I had forgotten about them, and now it's time to revisit them, and then they come so refreshingly, let's say, and then again, music starts coming out. And the third thing is, of course, I think love. You think of the people that you love, and they represent different worlds for you, and there's no way that they don't fill you up with inspiration. Maybe there's more, but this is what I'm 100% confident that they inspire me. These three things.
I loved your answer. Wow. And I'm coming to this. Are you happy?
Yes, I am happy. You know, it's, I mean, there's nothing not to be happy about. We're, like they say, every day above ground is a great day. I mean, you just take a walk in nature, and despite what happens, the balance is always, the plus is always on the happiness, no matter how high or no matter how much. So I could say I'm definitely happy, yeah. I don't know how it's going to be in the future, but for now I can say I'm happy.
I'm happy to hear this.
Thank you. Are you happy?
I'm trying to. I mean, no, that's not the right answer.
No, man, the right answer is the sincere answer. That's it.
Yeah, I am. I'm in the best shape of my life, mentally and physically, and productively as well.
That's awesome.
Yes, and I also agree with you on love. It's very important. I see that with myself now that I'm here in Crete, and I live by myself. I constantly put love in my day, and like self-love. It's another great subject. And I'm making a great breakfast for myself every day, like strawberries and everything, you know.
That's right there. That's happiness. You were definitely a happy man.
And I would like to ask you something else, which leads us to the advices that you would give to young artists. What advice would you give to someone that is starting now?
I mean, you know, I think one of the most advices that was a life-changing advice that was given to me by my professors, because, you know, as I said, I'm an emerging artist, and you know, whatever I've achieved here and there, it's because I've been true in my music. So if you are true and honest about how you feel and what you write, then that's it. You know, just because you haven't, if you feel that you want to do something, there's something in there that makes you want to do it. So if you want to write music, just write it. Don't be self-critical. Don't judge yourself too much. Just write it as if you were to write the best piece of music you've ever written. And one of my professors told me this, and you know, it kind of stayed with me. And the more time goes by, the bigger the value of that advice you know, becomes, and that has turned out to be one of the golden rules that I'll never drop. You know, so so that's one. So always be honest about what you write. You know, don't be too self-critical. Leave that for the aftermath. And the second advice that another professor of mine told me was that when you think you've written enough, like for example when you write music or you perform music, it's not enough. So you roll with that, and that'll always, you know, keep you going. And the third thing that I always apply also for my own sake is that I always try to discover new horizons, and I think that's a universal thing for all the artists. So these are the three advices that were given to me, and I'm passing it on. But I'm sure that there are so many out there that I'm willing to learn, and that other people can give me. I would love to hear from others as well. So yeah, these three advices.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Very, very deep answers. Yes.
Thanks. No, I've been lucky to have, you know, these professors who you know, really just they just drop one drop there, and then that leaves a long-lasting impact on you. And you know, I like it. I like what they've told me. It's worked for me.
It's a great that you're grateful for this, because that's the whole point.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Okay, I don't have any other questions like written, but we can improvise. And
Absolutely.
one thing that comes to my mind right now is this: would you experiment with other instruments?
Yes, I love experimenting. You know, because like I said, the world of sounds, or you know, the going back to the brain thing, I've discovered that different sounds or different timbres, they how would I put this? They attack your brain into different areas, and experimenting is a very important part because you know there's so many like harmonics in the air, or so many more sound colors that can open a whole new door to another world. So I think experimenting is one of the most beautiful things that you could do. I mean, even when you're sitting, like you're on the bus or in the car, just tapping somewhere, or you know, or at home when you get an instrument like an African bira or whatever you get, it's amazing how much satisfaction experiment or improvising can give you. So that's always, it's like a leisure activity.
Lovely. So every day becoming better and better and better with more things.
Yeah, absolutely. The more you stretch your hands into, and you know, the more
You can grasp.
to improvise, or the more you'll learn, the more armed you'll be, you know, in terms of music preparation or music inspiration. Yeah.
Fantastic. Um, I think we're at the end of this. I would like to continue, but I run out of questions.
No, don't worry, man. I mean, we could do this all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. But is there something that you would like to add? I'm happy to hear you.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I just wanted to thank you for this. It's you know, it's great. It feels very satisfying, and it's the most amazing thing is that you connect with another musician who you know, from whom you can feel that you're on the same page with, and you know, and then there's a lot of things to share. So thank you for this opportunity. I'm grateful to have known you. You know, a musician who's pretty much into the same things that I am, and I want to wish you a lot of success and every great thing that you are going to encounter in your endeavors. So keep doing what you're doing. It's really beautiful.
Thank you. You're appreciated, highly appreciated.
My pleasure.
I wish we will chat again soon in a different environment, more friendly, and I would like to learn more about you as a human being and as a creator, and I would like to thank you again because it's one of the most beautiful chats I had in this podcast, and I'm always happy to have people like you, creative, inspired, and hardworking men.
Thank you very much, Jason. I appreciate it. And like I said, I hope to come to Crete and probably do a concert there, you know, featuring you there. I would love it. I mean, if there's an opportunity, I'll take the first plane and do it. It's a beautiful place. People are into arts. You know, all the Cretians that I met are into that. So, you know, I hope that in the near future we can meet and we can play together. Why not?
I'll do my best. I'll do my best to make it happen. You know, mind over matter. We bring reality. I mean, we bring dreams into reality.
Yes, that's true. Thoughts become actions. That's it.
Yes. Lovely. Okay, so I wish you a great and productive day.
Thank you.
And I hope I catch you soon.
Absolutely.
That was it.
Thanks a lot, Jason. You know, I'll send you the sound file too. I hope my phone is still recording. Yeah, it is. So
Can I ask you a small favor? Would you like to play something for us right now? Is that possible?
absolutely, I'll play something for you. I'll play this piece. It's called "Time Has No Face." So it's a very. Some people find it a very melancholic piece, but some people find it a very soothing and relaxing because it's minimalistic, but I play with dynamics to achieve the emotional touch. So yeah, time has no face. Let me make sure. Okay. Can you hear me well? Can you hear it? Yeah. Not sure how the sound came out, but thank you.
That was great.
Thank you, I appreciate it. And I hope you enjoyed. The only thing is that with the sound, I don't know how it is in Google Meets, but I did a concert one time through Zoom, and the first minute is great, and then it feels like the device gets saturated with sound, and it kind of loses. But I hope you're able to hear the whole thing.
It was perfect. I almost cried.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm so
Yes.
glad you enjoyed it. Yeah. Thank you.
Perfect, man. I'm speechless. Thank you so much. You are one of my favorite musicians ever.
Thank you. I appreciate it. This is honoring. I'm serious.
It's an honor for me as well. And thank you, man. Just be well and do what's best for you and be true, like you said. And we love you.
Thank you. Thank you. Same here. Likewise. I enjoyed your stuff too. I mean, it's pretty sincere. It's fantastic. Just keep on working on it. I mean, you're doing great. I got inspired. I'm like, look at this guy. He's so true in what he's doing. I see the passion. I'm like, we need to see that all the time. So that's perfect.
I appreciate you, man. I'm deeply grateful for you. Okay, I'll leave you to it.
Thank
and
you. Ευχαριστώ πολύ.
I'll see you again. Yes, man.